Having owned my GT86 for 2 months now, I had done a lot of research before I bought it, and I thought it was only right to return the favour to everyone who is interested in buying one right now, as I am a car automotive channel and I really want to give good information to my viewers. And if you are looking for a GT86 right now on the market, a BRZ, even an FRS, then do check this video out. I hope you enjoy it and it gives you some insight into what it's like to own this car. Let's do it. I do hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, I invite you to hit the like button, subscribe to me because I make weekly car content, and I really want to talk about the GT86, and it's exactly this one that I own. It's in red, it is a 2012 version, it's the very first version. Now obviously they've released the GT86 in its newer facelifted form since, and the GR86 is due to come out soon. With that in mind, I thought I would do my 2 months on the GT86. Now, for clarification, I will be talking about the 86. Of course, in America, you've got the FRS. You've also got the fairly rare Subaru BRZ, so there's slight differences just to clarify with those. And interiors, of course. My car is 9 years old now, and having had it for 2 months, I am really enjoying the ownership of it, and I wanted to see if people felt the same. So as a 26-year-old, hopefully this can give young people some value. What I thought I'd do with this video is talk about the pros first, some cons and what I recommend. So with the pros, I think firstly, it's a great looking car. Look, this car is standout in my opinion. It still is fairly rare for the most part. You don't see them on a day-to-day basis. And when you do, you love seeing one because it's like, I just always used to think, oh, GT86, that's really cool. And it's just really nice to see. Now, it's not, a Ferrari, but in red it does look kind of cool. And then other things I love about this car are it just looks, like I said, it's a big exhaust, look fantastic. Its interior is really good. I think it's well made. Now if it doesn't have all the options like I have, unfortunately the previous owner didn't get them, like heated seats, it's a bit of a shame, but mostly I'm getting this car because I love cars, I love driving, and this is what it's all about. I think the modifications you can do, which I'll go on to in a minute, look great, and there's so many things that you can do to this car long term. I just think it's a great, well-made car. As long as you've got the engine recall valve in the UK especially, then you're good to go. The boxer engine is obviously important because it is an unusual engine. It's not like most engines, so obviously bear that in mind. But for the most part, this is a GT car, so it should run absolutely fine, and it is a Toyota at the end of the day. So that means, and spells, reliability. I think what is great about this is it also comes in a variation of colours, and that is definitely a pro because you've got a lot to pick from. I've gone red. You could get blue, grey, white, black, orange. That's whole range, pre-facelift, and of course if you are going for the facelift, post-facelift, then you've got a lot of choices as well if you prefer that model. As we speak, at the time of doing this video, there are over 200 for sale on Auto Trader, so a lot more than when I was starting. I think it's because of the used car boom, so just bear that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about some of the car's cons, because I think there are a couple that need to be addressed. Now let's be honest, power. I know a lot of people say it's slow. I don't think it's that slow, but it definitely could use, with a little bit more power, and there's always going to be that problem, I think. Look, this is the fastest car I've ever owned, so don't let anyone put you off with power. It's just no nonsense. Yes, it could be more powerful, and it definitely should feel more powerful, but for me, this is fine. 200 horsepower is great. Other things are suspension. I think the stock suspension is appalling. I don't know why, if anyone else has noticed this, but I know it's not going to be any better on aftermarket suspension, but for me the stock suspension feels tough coming from an MX-5, so it's definitely something I've had to get used to. And if you are not used to that, you're used to comfy riding, or you have had a car that's just been very luxury, this might be a bit of a change for you. In terms of other things, that's pretty much it. I think it's great. Parking would be my one thing. It's a bit bigger than my MX-5, so that's really just it. It's a bit big. Let's talk about mods I plan to do with the car, because I think that's really important, as a lot of these cars are bought for that reason. Going on to body kits and splitters, that sort of thing, spoilers. I would like to do that in the long term. I think they look great as shown here, and they can make a difference, but I think the car looks pretty as it is, so maybe this might be on my last bit, but mods you can do if you wanted to, of course. Our body kits is well known for its rocket bunny, of course. You don't have deep pockets, of course, so just bear that in mind. If you are getting this car, it could be a long-term project, and that's absolutely fine. Splitters are a nice way to start. It doesn't have to look, like this, but it's always nice. Up next are wheels, and I think Wheels probably are one of the most important aspects of any modification, and it just stands out so much. You know, if you played any racing games, you'll know this. That is the first thing you probably change, and I always like to look at this. So this will be something I'll do maybe in a year's time, less, maybe 6 months, who knows. But good wheels are always important. I'm not sure what I'm going to go for yet, but in my opinion, I'm probably going to look at Japan racing wheels because I think they're good quality. Moving on to the lights, I will be doing that. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with the rear lights per se, the stock. I actually quite like them, but I've also liked to do those lights as a first modification because I quite like the sequential and it does look pretty good like that. And on any car, a lot of people really praise these, and they're only £200, so a nice, easy modification to do, and you can do it yourself. So that's definitely something I would recommend and will be doing myself. And here's the small install, as you can see, literally remove part of the boot cover. Of course, interior-wise, I will plan to get certain things such as gear stick knobs or steering wheel, so that will be on the list as well. In terms of my own experience, I genuinely believe this car is really well made, it's quality, there is some leather and Alcantara that is used in the interior, and it definitely doesn't feel anywhere near as cheap as you would imagine, and it's quality that has been put into this car. In terms of suspension, there's plenty to choose from for the GT86, and I'll probably be going for lowering springs first, as I don't really want to spend too much right now, and I think just getting it started for me is really the main thing. But I've heard good things about coilovers, and you know, obviously bags are so expensive, but will look good as well like this. Engine, I think there's a lot to do with the engine. I will get a strut brace, so yeah, definitely a lot to go off, and if you are into that, there's a lot of mods to get. Would I recommend buying a GT86? Well, in this short review, I would honestly say yes. I have really enjoyed my first 2 months with the car and ownership, and primarily because it's been so unique on the road. Not as many people have one, and I believe 7,500 units came to the UK, something like that, since the facelift as well. So really not as many cars on the UK roads, and it just makes it exclusive and different. Especially when you go to a meet, yes, there's a few of them, but it's nice to be exclusive on the road, and I love that. It's also a GT car, and it's good with its MPG. I average about 32 MPG a session, and generally I love the fact it's got the 2+2, so it's got the 4 seats. It's got amazing big exhaust. I love those, and it's just so modifiable. And as a cost running standpoint, it's easy. It's not too expensive for insurance because it's a 2-litre, and tax is only £270 a year for me. So yes, as a 26-year-old person who loves driving, a car enthusiast, I would wholeheartedly recommend your GT86.